don't know what it is. Maybe, what do they call them? Eclipses, wormholes, astrological things that affect you. Because I don't have the excuse of my period anymore because I'm postmenopausal or whatever. But I'm like a little feisty these last couple of days. A lot of tears these last couple of days. And I'm just going with it and loving myself. But as we go into this next interview with Jenn Pinkerton, we have such alignment in our passion for supporting others in truly having the intimacy that they desire. And she said two things, quite the foundation of her business when she starts to work with people. You need to be interested and committed. And these concepts, as I was interviewing her, kind of were like I wasn't really understanding. She goes, well, you could be super committed to your marriage, but not really interested in doing what it's going to take to make it work better. I'm like, okay. Or you could be interested in what it's going to take to make it better, but not truly committed to doing whatever it takes. And I'm like, to me, that's just like, duh. Why the hell would they even be in our office if they weren't both interested and committed? Like, I don't know, just made me kind of feisty. Why the hell would anybody stay together if you weren't committed to being together and interested in doing the work to be together? Like, I am such a lifelong learner. Like, that's just like a deal breaker. That's like the presupposition of the whole thing. And I was saying to her in the interview, like, well, in order to be committed, in order to be interested, you need to be brave. Like, I just go right into like the heart. And then you need to be humble, because you're not going to have it all perfect, because nobody's perfect. Did you get the memo? So you've got to be humble, to be willing to be perfectly imperfect. And then you have to be brave. You have to open your heart. You have to jump into the unknown. There's no guarantees. So yes, interested and committed. But oh my God, I am a feisty stan for brave, humble people who ache for that depth of communion that's possible, and the safety and the vulnerability. And then from that place of safety, Jenn said something cool about this as well, that from safety, true desire arises. I completely agree with her, because until you can be like safe in your own self, because you can't control the other person ever, right? It'd be nice, but you can't. So the safety has to be inside out. Security has to be inside out. And then you cultivate that with your partner. And then you show up from there. And then the true erotic, sacred desires arise. You're going to have a good time with this interview with the amazing Jenn Pinkerton. Beautiful sister, take a breath with me. Oh, when was the last time you felt really grounded in your body, still in your mind? Truly in love with yourself. Not fixing yourself, not striving to be different, just loving your sweet self exactly as you are. I know you've probably been strong for everybody else, yet this is your moment now, an invitation to be there for you. To say yes to not just the bare minimum, but your real needs. To listen to the truth of your body, to slow down and hear the deepest truth of your heart. To face what you've been perhaps avoiding so that you can embody your authentic feminine power. And you don't have to do this alone. Like so many others before you, we can partner in divine sisterhood. The divine feminine way is to collaborate, to open our hearts together into the glorious great unknown, the mystery. So I invite you to go to allanapratt.com/connect and book a call with me today. We will get through any shadow to the light of your fullest glory together. Promise. Welcome to Intimate Conversations, Season 14, Dark Night to Divine Light, because we both know intimacy is an inside job. Hello, welcome to another episode of Intimate Conversations, Season 14, From Dark Night to Divine Light. And this is a red light, a red sexy woman who I have met, Jenn Pinkerton. Let me tell you about her. She's a psychotherapist, a sexologist, a writer, a speaker, host of Redhead Reveal podcast that I have the pleasure of being on as well. And she's in private practice. She owns Pinkerton Psychotherapy. And as a change agent, she helps people reveal their connectedness within their relationships understanding root causes of beliefs and behaviors that hold them back from the success that they desire. And she assists them in returning to the person they were born to be, slap your ass, so that they can step into life where they can truly thrive. And Jenn, we met through an entrepreneurial group. We had a quick little chat and we're like, oh, yes, we are being on each other's
Absolutely.
podcasts. Yeah. I want you to know in the show notes, you can see her website, jennpinkerton.com. Also a link to Amazon where she has connection cards. We'll talk more about those more recent or at the end. But in the beginning, how the hell did you decide to not just be a psychotherapist, but like a sexologist as well? That is a unique niche. What led you in that direction?
Well, as I specialize in connection, I'm a connection expert, and connection in relationships is the challenge. People exist in disconnected relationships all day long.
Yeah.
So, staying connected, I can't do that work as a connection expert if I don't also work with intimacy. And
Yeah.
so, I'm a certified sex therapist, and I'm about to finish my PhD in clinical sexology. So,
Good for
I just
you.
feel like it's just part of the whole circle of really being
Yeah.
able to work with somebody on their relationship and or the lack thereof. To me, connection is about the connection we have to ourselves. It's about
Yeah.
how we connect with other people. And it transcends just romantic relationships. It's also how you connect with your children, how you connect with your best friend, how you connect at work with your parents, etc. And
Yeah.
if we don't understand what holds us back or what our limitations are, then sometimes we'll just accept the status quo that this is just as good as it gets. And I
Yeah.
don't think we're born to live lives that feel like this is as good as it gets. I think
No.
that we're born to have bold and bright, beautiful, big lives. And I think everybody can achieve that in their relationship. It just takes some emotional inventory. And the
Yeah.
two things I talk about nonstop, which is interest and commitment. And if you can do those two things, everybody has an opportunity to transform.
Okay, this is going to be good. Because I've been an intimacy expert for 20 years, so
Yes.
we have a very aligned
I know.
passion.
I love it. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's so good for this. That connection is our birthright, and I also find that when the sex is working, every other area of the life, there, up levels, and when sex isn't working, it makes it harder for every single other area of life.
Absolutely.
And for me, like the sexuality is literally sacred energy, life force energy. So, but I am not a PhD. So, tell me what you've learned or what you're currently learning in your PhD about the power of a sex life that really thrives.
Absolutely. And so much of my work from that side also is on the parts of sex that become challenging, such as infidelity. So, my
Ah,
particular specialization in my PhD is to help couples heal from infidelity. And
wow.
oftentimes with infidelity, people say, well, that's a deal breaker for me. And it's just a hard line. And
Yeah.
the thing is, there's so much more opportunity to understand each other. And I'm not saying that every relationship can be saved if people break whatever agreements they have with each other. But I'm
Yeah.
saying that there's certainly an opportunity to understand and grow, either together or apart. And I
Mm.
think that work is very pivotal in me being able to work with the relationships in the way I do. So that is my primary focus. But being in clinical sexology, we study and learn about everything. And
Yeah.
I love helping people understand a desire mismatch or lack of feminine embodiment and sensuality. Or
Mm.
dealing with purity culture or shame from other aspects that people carry into the relationships, as well as trauma and other things, also that can truly have a very detrimental effect on the relationship.
Yeah. I don't know about you and your path, but for me, I'm teaching intimacy because I need to learn about intimacy. Like that's why I think I was put on the planet. Teach what I'm here to learn. How about you, to the degree you're willing to share? Has this brought up things in your relationship with your sexuality, your full self expression, your feminine eroticism?
Mhm. I will tell you that I personally never felt challenged on that part, honestly, because my wounds that I dealt with, because all therapists have wounds, or we wouldn't be doing this work to help other
Yeah.
people. Mine
Yeah.
was around abandonment. I lost my father when I was very young, and that
Sorry.
abandonment was so crushing to me that I truly became a storyteller in my own life. I was kind of a chameleon. I didn't really have a true sense of myself. I wasn't integrated in myself, and I was more about just being whatever I needed to be for whatever opportunity I had, and that lack of authenticity caught up with me. And at a
Yeah.
later
Yeah.
point in life, I realized that's not the way I wanted to be. And I had an opportunity to grow. And by doing so, I really recognized how much I wanted to help other people do that. So,
Mm.
I think that figuring out who we are, remembering that we can all return to the person we're born to be before we're limited by things. Like for me, I was limited by a wound I had that I hadn't healed from.
Yeah, yeah,
Everyone has some sort of wound that affects them.
yeah.
We all get affected by our childhood. It's not a blame game. It's not about parents. Most parents do the very best they can with
Sure.
what they have to give
Totally.
also. But oftentimes it's our own perception. It's our own way that we look at what we've experienced in life, and it shapes us.
Yeah.
Me losing my father shaped me in a way that certainly wasn't what he would have wanted or that my mother who loved me would have wanted. It has nothing to do with that. It's just my own way that I viewed the world and my own coping mechanism that might have served me beautifully at 12 years old, but didn't serve me at 30 something. So I
Right,
think that
right.
that's a big part of it, is to do this emotional inventory in our life to understand what is it that's wounded us? What is it that we repeat? What patterns are negative? What kind of feedback loop is in our head that we don't talk to ourselves with beautiful love and self-compassion that we all
Mm.
need to have in order to
Yeah.
live a fulfilling life?
So thank you. I'm so sorry about losing your father. And I hear you've done the deep wounded work. Does it ever cross your mind that you might lose your partner? Does that ever?
Not in that same way. I think that I don't feel empty in the way that I did when I was young. And that
Yeah.
was my child part, being a child suffering
Yeah.
from pain and loss. And my
Yeah.
adult self, I think, is much more aware, and I have a
Yeah.
self-awareness and a self-realization that of course I would never want to lose my partner. I'm
Yeah.
also much better equipped to handle loss and struggles and pain as an adult
Sure.
now than I was as
Yeah.
a child.
Of course.
Um,
Of
but
course.
I think that people that do experience loss, abandonment is a very common thing. And
Yeah.
there are these four core wounds that I really work with clients. And one of them is people always leave.
Mm,
That's that
mm.
idea of abandonment, is that I
Right.
don't trust and people always leave. Some of the other common ones are I don't belong,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm not good enough,
Sure.
and I'm not worthy.
Yeah.
And that's where we create so much problems in our life with a sense of either perfectionism and over functioning,
Yeah.
or avoidant personalities to protect, or
Yeah.
a sense of imposter syndrome because you don't believe you deserve the success that you are earning and getting.
Yeah, 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 exactly. What do you feel is the difference between I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy? What does it look like differently in
Well, I think
relationships?
that the I'm not good enough is an idea of I'm going to overachieve and I'm going to excel and everything has to be perfect and I'm going to overfunction and I'm going to earn this love.
Got it, got
Because
it.
I'm not worthy, I feel like it's more of a sense of it's not as relational. It's more shame based. It's more of
Mm.
I'm not good enough. I'm not.
It's
I
why
don't feel
try?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And I think that there is an axis where they intersect, but then there's also a very much a path where they can shape differently. And a
Mm.
lot of it, I think, for some of it shows up in people's business, that you
Yeah.
just don't achieve, or you don't dream big, or you don't take risk because you
Yep,
just don't
yep.
think it's going to show up that way for you. But
Right.
if most of us would lean in to
Yeah.
all of our passion, all of our, experiences, all of our creativity,
Yeah.
there's so much out there that we can experience and so much joy we can grasp.
Absolutely. I so agree. I'm just having a memory of my parents saying, "You're what?" I'm hopping on Uncle Phil's 18-wheeler semi and leaving Canada for LA. And then after that, oh yeah, I'm moving to Tokyo. Uh-huh. And then and they're just like, "What?" I'm like, "But you raised me to follow my dreams. I am doing that."
Hmm.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Pivoting back over to your primary focus with infidelity, of these four core wounds, or is it something different? Do you find there's a trend of what leads
Well,
to
for
infidelity?
infidelity, most people, when that affects relationships, and to quote someone amazing in my field, Esther Perel, she talks about how most often affairs are a sense of an aliveness you're searching for in yourself. It's how
Ah,
you feel about yourself with another person, and very rarely about the other person at all. It's about
mm,
how you feel. And so sometimes that perspective is really enlightening, as well as understanding there's so many other reasons. There's sexual mismatch, there's ego, there's trauma, there's addiction.
sure, so
There's a
much.
lot of, and there's exit strategy. There's so many reasons why things
Yeah,
like that happen, and
yeah,
understanding the why. And for me, I think it's recognizing that, your existing relationship is dead. You have to build a brand new one, and
totally.
one
Yep,
that can meet your needs, one that has safety, emotional safety, one where you can stay connected during conflict, one where you can truly see each other. And so I
yeah,
think there's so much opportunity in it. A lot of people don't give that opportunity.
Yeah.
But I don't just work with infidelity. Oftentimes people will come just because they say we're disconnected.
Yeah.
I love my husband or I love my wife but we're, we're roommates. And
Right.
how do we get that back? Where did that disconnection come from? And how can we go deeper with each other? And we don't even know how. It's I call it the business of marriage. It's who's picking up the kids. Did you handle this? What do we owe in taxes this year? It becomes very business arranging and
Yeah.
less about creativity, less about novelty. And we have
Yeah.
to have an infusion of novelty and creativity in our life. We're not
Mm.
designed to have Groundhog Day every single day
No.
in our life, you
God,
know?
kill me now.
I
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
so many of us do. And so it's understanding it doesn't have to be that way, We have the
Yeah.
opportunity to create and build and craft and curate a life that feels amazing to us.
Yeah. I was just facilitating a dyad between a couple this morning. And what was one of the questions I got them? Tell me a way we can deepen our trust and intimacy. And it was hard for them. It
Mhm.
was hard for them. They do good, like repair of rupture. They do good business, marriage, taking care of the kids, and they each do their, they go to workshops and but when they're actually asked to take ownership,
Mhm.
tell the truth, what really would deepen that?
Mhm.
It is about getting more creative. And so, what do you mean? What's the difference between novelty and creativity when it
I
comes to
think that
spicing up a
I
relationship?
think that they're similar, but I think when I think of the word creative, I think about a lot of that is what's inside of us. It's our own
Mm.
spirit that's creative.
Yeah.
It's our own sense of curiosity. It's the own idea that I want to explore new things. I want to learn new things.
Yeah.
Where novelty, I view more in a sexual lens about being more, let's spice things up and let's
Mm.
be novel. And maybe I never thought I would do this one thing, but in the
Yeah.
right circumstances, maybe I would. The biggest
Mm.
problem with sex, I think, is people aren't talking about it. And if you're not going
Mm.
to talk
Mm.
about sex, how are you going to have good sex?
Yeah. Yeah. I like, just as I was saying, these dyads with my clients. It was one of them had just done a psychedelic somatic integration weekend with me, so she was really raw and needed support and how to share things.
Sure.
So helping them talk about that, but also talking about sex. These dyads can be amazing. Like, tell me a way you like to be touched. Tell me something about you and oral sex. Tell me
Mhm.
about a sexual fantasy. You can go for a drive. You can go for a walk. You can be naked in bed. You can be over
Yes.
dinner. There's a lot of ways. And I'm imagining the cards, the connection cards that we spoke of earlier, probably have some great questions around
Right. They're about
sexuality.
depth. And that particular one is
Yeah.
about just couples learning how to go deeper, to remember why they fell in love,
Right.
questions like if we ever felt like we were if our relationship was in trouble, what would bring
Mm.
you back to me?
Ah, nice. Nice question.
So things like that are deeper that you might not ever think about, but the answers are so very interesting.
Wow.
And especially this is true for, I'm going to pick on men for just a second, although
Okay.
I adore men, but men sometimes vulnerability is
Yeah.
really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Generationally, a lot of men were not raised that vulnerability was a sign of great strength. In fact, it might have been viewed as a weakness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it is some unlearning that has to happen because we can't have intimacy without vulnerability. It just doesn't work.
100%.
And women have a lot more comfort usually around that. Men, that's often more challenging.
Yeah.
And so there's some stereotypical things I think that have to be broken down, and there's some generational aspects that have to be broken down to
Yeah.
recognize that you don't have to be vulnerable with the world, but you
Right.
need to be vulnerable with your person.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
really agree
how
with
can
that.
we create this beautiful emotional safety so you can do that?
Nice.
And I think that that's a big part of it because otherwise, this disconnection usually perseveres.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. If no one's going to do anything about it, it's going to become the status quo. And then one day you either just settle or you leave.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I'm very curious about your own relationship. What would the answer be to what would bring, if we were in trouble, what would bring us back? What would be your answer to that about
I
your
think for
marriage?
me, it's more about remembering why we were here and
Yeah.
remembering how it was in the beginning. As all relationships, when we're in the beginning, we're our most beautiful selves, right? We're trying all the things, we're doing all the things. We want to, we all get swept up in the idea of being in love. And so I
Yeah.
think the beginning aspect is something that would help me and probably most couples. If you remember, because I always ask everyone, what is your love story?
Mm.
Remember, do you remember what your love story is? Here you are 30 years later and you're
Yeah.
not happy. What was your love story? Why did
Yeah.
you get married?
Right, right, right.
And sometimes people can do some emotional inventory and recognize, wow, I have left some of those parts of myself that my partner loved. How do I
Mm,
get those back for them? And how do I get
yeah,
it back for me?
exactly. Yeah. What would that be? What made you fall in love? Who are you being and
I
how?
think, well, first of all, I had young children then, which they're grown now.
Yeah,
But I think having young children and having this beautiful family unit for
yeah,
me was
yeah.
something that was so attractive for me. And the strength in that was something I was really lacking. And so for
Mm,
me, that was almost intoxicating to have this sense of emotional safety
yeah,
and
yeah.
that we had this unit together. And that was so helpful. And being a blended family, there's a lot of challenges that come with that. But out
Sure.
of everything in my own relationship, that was the best part. It was the easiest part. And
Um,
it felt so very pure. And so I think that I hadn't experienced a lot of things in my life that felt so pure and easy in the way that did. And to see my
nice.
children feel so much joy and prosper and feel
Mm,
happy was a big thing for me because they were very young. I
yeah,
lost their father when they were very young. So to remarry and to have this blended family was just an
yeah.
amazing experience for me.
I love that. I love that. I didn't. I was a single mom for most of married for 1 year and divorced for the rest of his life. So
Yes.
it was quite the opposite. So I really can sense the beauty of that safety, that security, and
Yes.
watching your children thrive and
Right.
flourish in that.
Well,
How
and
what do you
we can go back right there to what we were saying earlier. My own core wound that I will openly share was that abandonment aspect. And
yeah,
so here was this person willing to give me something that has always been a very raw area for me. And he was
yeah,
able to give me that sense of, no, we're good. We're a family now. And so I think that was really, for me, it spoke to my own wound. And I think that's a thing for each person to explore. If you
yeah,
have a wound, and you're going to do your best to heal it because we will repeat what we don't heal. We have to
yep,
address it, but it
yep,
doesn't make
yep,
it go away. Having an understanding, being integrated doesn't make it go away. We still have it. We just have a recognition around it, and we have a comfort level around this is just who we are, and we're going to try to work on those things. And thinking about that for me was a big thing. I challenge other people. How does your wound show up in your relationship, and what kind of relationship do you need to best meet who you are
mm,
because of it?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. And not to be blamed for that, but to have compassion for your partner about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did it feel at all like abandonment when the kids left home, or were you like, it's about time, off you
Oh,
go?
it did. I struggled so much with that. I
Did
struggled
you?
a lot with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I don't as much, but it was a challenge for me.
Yeah.
But as a therapist, I believe that all of us needs to continue to do the work. I mean, healing
Yeah.
is not linear. I
Yeah.
think
I
we
agree.
stop and start at different places in our life, different times in our life where we have different needs or struggles, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. How do you help empty nester couples when the kids are going? Do you have any specific advice just for that period of a relationship?
Sure. I think finding your joy together, understanding what are the things that maybe you haven't been able to do that you could
Right.
do together now because your life stage allows for it, that can be
Yeah. Yeah.
exciting and can be new.
Yeah.
How can you wrap around this idea of we can carve this out to be anything we want? What do we want it
Yeah.
to be?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
being on the same page of that it's like we're jumping into a new pool, jumping off the dive. What are we going to embrace? What are we going to dive into next? What are we
Yeah.
going to have? And to look at it as a beautiful opportunity and a blessing, not oh, I'm so devastated. It's a phase of life. And if we're doing the right job, we want our kids to go off and to experience their
Yes.
own adulthood. And so
Yes.
we can't keep them at home. And we have to then embrace that new phase for us. And what is that going to look like? And how can we structure it where we both feel a newness, a sense of vigor, a sense of excitement?
Yeah. Do you ever find, because I'd say 70-30, 70 find the newness and the joy, but a good 30, they're like, I feel like my sacred contract is done. I don't feel aligned anymore. We don't have similar interests anymore. We had the kids, but now it's really obvious that we don't have a lot that intertwines
Sure.
that I want to create. How do you help them let go, or how do you help them get to that decision that it's not a failure, it's just a completion of this phase of your sacred contract?
Absolutely. I mean, discernment counseling is a very real thing. And sometimes couples do come to the end of their road and say, this is just not what I want anymore. And
Yeah.
if so, there's a very proper and healthy way to do that that protects people's feelings and doesn't cause more pain and more wounds. So discernment counseling is a very real focus. But before that happens, I like to at least try with couples to say, if you don't have alignment, can we create it? If you
Mm,
don't have anything in common, can we build it?
mm,
If you haven't done anything together in years, can we start? And what would
right.
that look like? And can
Right.
we throw out all of our routines, all of our
Yep.
Groundhog Day, all of
Yep.
everything, and start all over again?
Yeah.
Do we need to move? Do we need
Right.
to have a newness? Do we
Right.
need to completely shake up the way our status quo looks like? The homeostasis of life is what really screws up a lot of people because they're
Yep.
thinking, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right. Right.
But is it that you don't want to do all that anymore? Or is it really, I don't want to do that with you? And sometimes
Right.
they don't know that difference. And so
Correct.
exploring that is a
Yeah.
big understanding because if you think, you know what, if it was totally different, I might be willing to stay with this person. Well, then why don't we explore what that could be?
Yeah, yeah. I always work with people for a year. I don't want to give them a fish. I want to teach them to fish.
Mhm,
And
sure.
for that initial few breakthroughs, that feels great. But then it gets, challenging after that. We've really got to go to that deeper level. If they were to say, okay, we've been together 30 years, it's not working, would you say to them, well, let's give it a year so we can see if we can create this alignment, create all of this? Like, is there a certain
I don't
period of
give a
time?
timeline for
Yeah.
this reason.
Yeah.
I don't know at that moment, or I probably wouldn't know. Maybe I did, but usually I don't know everybody's deepest core wounds or their shame or
Uh,
what trauma they've experienced in life that
right.
is
Right.
affecting them yet. And
Right.
sometimes we have to get past the business of the marriage and the marital problem and get so deep about individual work
That's
to
what I
really
mean. The
understand
deep
that.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's hard to say it would take a year. It's hard to say what it would take because I don't know what someone's dealing with. I just was working with a couple the other day that one of the partners finally disclosed something that happened that the other partner had never even known about. And so
Whoa.
then we have such a break in trust once again and having to
Yep.
work through that. And I
Yeah.
just think there's so many layers to a
Yeah.
relationship. And
Yeah.
we have to peel back each one to really get to understand what it's about.
The core of what it's going. Yeah, I agree. I like working like single session, couple session. Or if I do psychedelic medicine, a session for her, a weekend for him, and then a weekend for the two of them. Because I find I get so many results
Right.
faster when it's not just about blaming the other, but taking full
Sure.
ownership of your own core wounds. And then that can often reveal the truth right there.
Mhm.
So
I always work with some individual sessions as well, and I reserve the
yeah,
right to say we gotta go. We need some time again to dig a little
yeah,
deeper. But I try to keep it very equal and balanced so that
yeah,
everyone feels like they're all
heard.
working through their things simultaneously.
Yeah.
But so much of my work is just recognizing that we are relational beings, but we live in an
Yeah.
individualistic society. And
Mm,
to understand how can we create more relationalness, more usness together
yeah. Yeah.
because think about it, everybody's into their own self growth, everybody's into their own self promotion at work, everybody's into their own what works for me. And while all that's great, and I do want people to be sure of what they need and their wants and their needs,
Yeah.
we also have to recognize if you're going to be in this relationship, there's an usness.
Yes.
And what does
Yes.
that usness look like? Is there a part of just loving the partner you're with and seeing how you can make that work? Is there a
Yeah.
part of that that looks like, I mean, in my opinion, consideration is the highest form of love. So, how much
Mm,
consideration is there to someone else? Or
nice.
have you lived most of your life just being very self oriented?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, how can we pivot from that? And what would
Yeah.
that feel like if you actually put somebody first? And how would
Mm,
your partner feel if for the first time they were put first?
right.
You know?
Right. This was
Understanding,
exactly,
yeah, defensiveness too is so big, and we are not taught. We do not get an owner's manual. I always say it's crazy that we have to, to get a driver's license, drive a car. We've got to study. We've got to take a test. We've got to do all these things. But to get married or to be in a relationship, cool.
show up. That's it.
Let's go. And we're bringing in all of our crap and all of our baggage and all of our modeling.
Yep.
But what would happen if each person actually got the quote owner's manual that I'm
Yeah.
going to work with people on how to handle defensiveness, how to truly validate, how to see
Mm,
your partner, how to recognize their wounds, how
yeah.
we can adjust and how we can grow. I just think that most couples miss out on learning those few things that can
Yeah.
really transform their relationship.
It's so true. That's why I love the dyad, because all they get to say is thank you. Like there's no, you don't get to have a
Right,
justification or a comeback. And
right,
you get to learn how to sit in the fire and not seek to be right or dominate, but seek to understand your
right.
partner. It's such a beautiful
Well, so many
practice.
couples have that thing right there we were talking about where it
Yeah.
says, I'm sorry I did that, but the reason was.
And they justify, yeah, which just
But the
destroys
reason
the
doesn't
apology.
matter. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. What
exactly.
matters is there's an emotional injury. We have to attend to the emotional injury. And I find sometimes I'll use the example of imagine that you're in an ER. Someone is
Yeah.
bleeding out. All
Yep.
you're trying to do is to tend to the wound.
Yep.
We don't need to do anything else,
Yep.
just that. Because
Yep.
otherwise it's like someone's bleeding out from an injury, but you're trying to put a cast on it. I mean, it doesn't work. You
Yeah.
have to just focus on the injury, the wound. That's it.
Yeah.
Rather
And you
than
make
what I call explain, deny, defend, or prove. Because that's
No.
what it is.
Well, you're in your head, Jen, when you do that.
That's right.
You're not in your heart. You're not feeling
Mm-hmm.
regret,
Mm-hmm.
healthy
Course.
regret
Yeah.
or remorse, or
Mm-hmm.
really putting yourselves in the shoes of your partner and feeling what this has caused them. It was exquisite this morning to watch this couple, go back and forth. And when they'd finished sharing, I'm like, let's just take a breath, let it sink in. And you could just watch them really get it. And the container allowed for no of this explaining and justifying and
Right.
defending. And you could just see it was almost like ice falling away. They just
Right.
the armor was
Right.
cracking and falling away, and the communion by the end of it of feeling so heard
Because no one
rather
is
than
going to
fixed.
soften
Yeah,
in the space of defending, denying, explaining, or proving. There's no soft
never.
spot.
No,
There's
it's
there's
armor.
one wall and another wall and another wall.
Totally,
Mhm.
totally. I so get this. And I love what you were saying about consideration and
Mhm.
putting your partner first. That's exactly what the gentleman was saying actually to the woman. When you do such and such, it makes me feel like I'm your second priority. Well, actually, third after the kids.
Right.
And
Yeah.
all she got to say was, thank you.
Thank you for telling me. Or I'm so glad you shared with me.
Right? Because then she can't sit with it. Or when she sits with it, she doesn't defend.
That's right.
She sits with it and feels. And then, right next out of her mouth, when she took a pause, she said, you know what? You're right. And that was not prompted, but through feeling, not thinking. And she's super, super smart. But through feeling and looking into the eyes of her partner, she could get it.
But
And she
it's
said, you
because
know
they
what?
slowed down. We
Yes,
can't do anything if we're constantly bulldozing ahead. And that's what we do. We
totally.
live in this fast, frenetic society. But if
Yep.
everybody would slow down and do what I
Yep.
call low and slow, the
Yeah.
lower part of our brain, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being very slow, we can feel. And we are actually designed to feel. I mean, think about people that if they're in solitary confinement or isolation,
Yeah.
it is a form of punishment because we are made, our neurobiology is to connect.
Right.
But
Right.
how little do we connect with our partner? We're just in a
Well,
hurry. We're two ships passing each other the night. But if you
yes.
slow down enough to truly connect, beautiful things happen.
I love this because this is why I do what I do, to be able to hold space for that, to be able to help my nervous system be able to do that, and then be the role model. There is nothing better than feeling without words so seen, so gotten,
Yeah.
so loved for your hot mess or your amazingness, like all of it. They're not going anywhere.
Well, our capacity for repair expands. Our
Yeah.
capacity for understanding expands. So
Yes.
much growth happens, and I don't mean just growth in our emotional aptitude. I mean this physical growth is what it feels like. This sense of I can hold so much more in my relationship now
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
can truly see my partner and they
Yeah.
feel it
Yeah.
and you're
It's,
co-regulating and the energy feels
yes.
different and now you feel like that's really my person again, not just oh yeah, that's my spouse. I mean, it feels
Right.
like this united my person.
Yeah.
I
Well, if,
like to use that word because I feel like it's trying to emphasize that we're talking about a oneness and usness because
yeah.
it doesn't work if we're only worried about ourselves.
Totally. It's so great what you just said. We expand. My client over the weekend, who was here for her psychedelic somatic integration, on the other side of integrating trauma, there is space created when the autonomic nervous system is all at rest and still point, and the soul, which I believe is outside of us, gets to come inside of us. So soul embodiment. She's like, oh, I'm huge. And her voice dropped, I swear, an octave. She started speaking like she was Buddha, like she was home in her being. It was amazing. So
And
yeah,
she
we
felt
do.
safe. She felt safe. And it's
Totally.
that safety that we're looking for. We're
Yeah.
all looking. We scan the room all day long for safety.
Yeah. Oh yes. Hypervigilant. Yes, I know. I
Yes.
know. I know
Yes.
that one.
Right. And
Wow.
so many of us live in that hypervigilance, the yellow color of hypervigilance, where you are so uncertain, always on edge, always in a
Yeah.
hurry.
Yep.
We don't have this art of presence anymore. We don't
Yeah.
have curiosity because we're not slowing down enough to be curious.
Right.
We're not present, so people don't feel us.
Right.
That
Because we don't
living
even feel
stillness.
ourselves. Yeah.
That's right. And
Yeah.
it's just a trauma response. I mean, hypervigilance is a trauma response. It's learned behavior because I don't feel safe. So the more
Totally.
safety we can have, then the better we're going to feel in every aspect.
Yeah. And my clients, me especially, and my clients, safety, I thought was by controlling outside circumstances. I had no idea that safety was by going the opposite direction towards my wounds, sitting in the fire,
Yes, yes.
integrating them into like embodied peace, embodied calmness, not fix my circumstances on the outside to have this illusion of control and safety.
Right.
So it's like it's an inner game, and and that's why their voices drop. They're just like, "Oh God, I'm safe. I'm here.
It
I'm
feels good.
enough." Oh, damn well, it feels great.
And
So
then that's a bridge to desire. When we have that kind of connection and
yeah.
that type of safety, that is the true bridge to get to that arc of desire.
Tell me more.
We're not really able to feel totally embodied and full of abandonment desire if
Mm,
we don't have connection.
yeah, yeah.
You can look at someone and say, I'm attracted, or your body can feel aroused by something. But there's a big difference between a physical arousal
Yep.
and desire. Desire is
Yeah.
all encompassing, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And
It's
and
not
I think
performative.
that's right. And so
Yeah.
much of that gets limited because you just don't feel safe enough to do so. And so working on safety and having, especially, I think again, for men, understand what that's about. And most women don't understand that language either, honestly. It's not just men, but I think men, back to vulnerability, have a little bit harder time with that.
Yeah.
Whereas women, once I think there's some psychoeducation that goes on around it, they're like, oh yeah, that is exactly how I feel, but didn't really
Yeah.
know how to term it, how to
Yeah.
articulate that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so much of these disconnections are people not knowing what's wrong, but yet it's so simple once you do. It's
Yeah.
simple. This kind of work is not rocket science. When you
Yeah.
get in it, you dive in it. Sometimes I have couples go, that's all it took.
Mm.
Now, the approach has to have a lot of clinical aspect of it, of course, but the people end up feeling like, wow, why didn't we do that 20 years ago?
Mm. Mm. Well, I think it takes bravery. I think it takes humility.
It does.
Um, and
Well,
it
let's
takes
get
a
back to those
willingness.
two. Interest and commitment, right?
Oh yeah, I wanted to go back to that. So
Yeah,
tell me what you
interest
mean by
and
that.
commitment. Well, you can be committed to trying to work on the relationship all day long, but not very interested in learning. Or you can be
Mm.
really interested in learning, but already have a foot out the door.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it takes both
Yeah.
interest and commitment. And
Yeah.
that's something I ask of every client I work with. Are you interested in being here? And are you committed to the process?
Right. And I guess the presupposition to each of those, and from my point of view, is this bravery, because you're going to have to head into the unknown, and a
Yes,
humility. You're going to have to own some stuff,
absolutely. And
forgive
it's
some
going to be
stuff.
uncomfortable, but it's
Yes,
a temporary discomfort for
for
maybe a lifetime of
us.
feeling amazing.
Hell. Yeah.
I mean,
No.
you gotta walk through the fire a little bit, maybe.
Oh yes, I think every time that's one
But
of my
but
Allana
isn't
Pratt
that
methods.
relationship worth it? That's my question. Is it worth it?
Right.
Because last time I checked, divorce sucks. It's difficult. Before you
Yeah.
go down that road of difficult, why don't you walk down my path with me, guiding you both to a different difficult path? You can
Yeah.
still choose the other again if you want to, but let's try this first. And I
Totally.
work with so many couples that are on the brink, so many couples that are on the precipice to say, just yesterday. So I've been to 6 therapists. We're done. But finally came to you. And in one session, they're like, this feels different because
Mm.
it is different. And I
Yeah.
try to have just this transformational experience with people I work with.
Yeah.
I'm not the person that people come to see when you just say, yeah, we're madly in love or just have a few problems. That's not me. There's other great people for that. I am more of the change agent for we are at the end of the road.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
And what
so
does that
aligned,
mean?
Jen. We're so aligned. That's why this is called season 14, Intimate Conversations, Dark Night to Divine Light. It's not like it's from sunset to
Yeah,
sunrise. No, no, it's like dark. Okay,
that's
you're ready
right.
to throw in the towel. Like night, that
That's
gets you
right.
turned on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because to me it's like 210 degree, what is it? 211 degree feeling state change, right? But
Yes.
that last part is the most intense, the
Mm-hmm.
easiest to give up on, but oh, it's got the potency to blow
Yeah,
you into a completely new reality. That's what turns
totally.
me on. And it sounds like that's what turns you on.
Absolutely. And
I
I
lo-
love that joy of seeing people come back with this aliveness in their relationship.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I get it. I
love it.
get it.
Love it.
So good, so good. So I'm just going to go through my notes. I want people to go to jennpinkerton.com. That is her site, so you can explore working with Jen.
Yes, and
There's a
two ends. Two
That's
ends
right.
with the
Two
gin.
N's,
Yeah.
Pinkerton. It's in the show notes. And also a wonderful gift to get started, her connection cards as well. And there'll be a link to Amazon to pick those up. So as we were talking, she was speaking of interest and commitment. You need both. And my presupposition beneath that is you need bravery and humility. She's very good at talking with infidelity. And she was letting us know that really a lot of that is the aliveness that people are searching from within themselves, not within another. We talked about when there's a lack of authenticity, people, if you can't be who you are, how can you bring out the best in the other if you're not giving them the best of who you are, the truth of who you are? She spoke of the 4 people always leave. I don't belong. I'm not good enough, not worthy. So let's see if any of those ring a bell with you. And we talked about this beautiful gift of consideration, putting your partner first, this idea of usness, getting back to, yeah, that's my person, and letting go of that defensiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that's also so beautiful. The difference between just being like chemically lusting and turned on by someone versus true desire, and that comes from safety. We've got to feel safe inside of ourselves first. We've learned so much, Jen. You're amazing. Can't
Thank
wait to
you.
continue this conversation on your
Thank
podcast.
you.
Yeah. How would you
Yes.
like to complete from your beautiful heart to the viewers and listeners?
I just like to tell everybody that having an amazing relationship where you thrive is possible for
Mm,
everybody. It just
yeah.
is. And if you look at your own relationship and you feel like I don't have that, then go get it. Come
Yeah.
get it. Let's
Yeah,
do the
baby.
work to figure it out. Let's grab it. And we
Yeah.
can do that. So I'm here. Work with me.
I love it. I love it. And go grab it, go take it. Again, is going to take bravery and humility because you're not going to know how. I mean, Jen will many things. I can teach you many things, but in general, life is uncertain. So you have to be willing to be brave and humble and still go for it anyways, because I believe it's your birthright. And so my request is go to jennpinkerton.com, go to Amazon, pick up her cards. But before you do any of that, just when you finish watching or listening, just close your eyes, hand on your heart, maybe hand on your belly, maybe feet on the ground, and just feel into what was it that Jen said that's like, I'm not going to avoid that any longer. I'm
Yes.
going to address that, take an action, and have the life that is my birthright. So we
Yes.
thank you so much for being with us on Intimate Conversations. And
Wonderful.
until the next time I get to be with you, Jen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, love you all. See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life. Friggin' love talking to Jen. We have so many aligned superpowers, commitments, values. One of the things that, I don't know if disturbed me was the right word, but maybe disheartened me was that a lot of her practice is focused around infidelity and healing from that. That saddens me, especially when she quoted why, according to Esther Perel, that it was a desire to feel more aliveness within themselves, not more aliveness like my partner's not alive, I want a more alive partner. No, I personally wanted to feel more alive. And that to do that through breaking your word in a monogamous relationship is disheartening to me, because we're in charge. We have complete agency and sovereignty over how friggin' alive we are day to day, and not to outsource our happiness, our worth, or our aliveness to another, and like take the reins of our own life and turn ourselves on, light ourselves up, right? Yeah, it's work, it's commitment, it's intentionality, and it's a friggin' choice. Like, are you gonna be your best self for you every day, for your relationship every day, for your family every day? It's completely in our hands, completely. I am like the biggest dork. I've got all the things on my fridge, all the happy sayings. I've got the, music going in the morning. I do my practice. I do what it takes. And then when I need help, I ask for help. And when I've just lost my way, I ask for help. And I choose not to outsource this is me personally, my aliveness to another while betraying my partner. I don't know how I'd live with myself when it was me in charge the whole time, and I had the choice the whole time. Now, I'm certainly not saying I'm a perfect human. I suck at a lot of stuff. I've messed up left, right, and center. Clearly 2 divorces. I was involved in those demises of those marriages. So like, I'm not saying I'm perfect. And I am committed to being my best self for myself, for my relationships, and for the world. And I've created a structure in my life, so I'm accountable. I've got to lead group calls every week. I got to lead private coaching calls every week. I've got clients coming for their psychedelic somatic integration work. Brave people. So I can't show up if I'm a fraud. So that's the structure I've created. I've created the structure of having a podcast where I interview people, so I'm always a student. And then I'm even more masterful at what I do, like container, a structure that works. If left to my own devices, Lord help us. So I'm super grateful. But again, that's my intentionality. We can all do that. So if Jenn is your cup of tea and you would like to explore working with her, go connect with her now. Certainly get that the couples deck thing from Amazon as well. Follow her on Instagram, all the ways. You can get to know more about her. That's why I bring people to you, because I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and together we're better. If I am your cup of tea and you'd like to explore, oh my God, this aliveness from the inside out is an intimate relationship with ourselves, and we cannot get there if we still hate ourselves, haven't forgiven ourselves, are rejecting ourselves, still, okay, we got to do the inner work. That's my jam. That's what I'm amazing at. So contact me. In the show notes, there's a way to have an intimacy breakthrough experience call with me, and a scholarship there for being a viewer or listener of intimate conversations. And then lastly, do something to enliven your ass today, please. Okay? Slap it. I'm going to go to flamenco class here in a little bit. Oh, I got my new skirt. My new bata de cora. It's like totally homemade, all the ruffles, all the things. I cannot wait. I'll do a little video of it as well. Yeah, because I'm never too old to keep learning like a new trick. And I love the attitude and the posture and stamping around, even if it's me in the back with the 8-year-olds. That's okay. I'm the beginner. It's all right. I'm okay not being perfect, but I'm not okay giving up on being my best self. I love you with all my heart.